Well, we had promised that we would have an interaction session with Gordon Kachola from the African Center for Diplomatic Affairs. He is the Executive Director. I want to thank you so much for finding time just to come and reflect on the 45th and 47th President of America, the 60th inauguration that took place. Very, very cold weather in the United States of America. So the President himself giving instructions that it should be held indoors. Obviously, critics coming out and saying no. He probably feared that the turnout would be low. But what's your first reaction to President Trump's speech today? It was short, it was sweet, according to some. But what was your greatest takeaway?
Oh, well, even before we go to the takeaway from your speech, this is not the first inauguration being held indoors. In 1985, Ronald Reagan, it was held indoors due to weather. So, however cold it was, I don't know if it will be cold to the world during his 2.0.
2.0, yeah.
But speaking about his speech, there are three main issues that came up. Number one, the shocker to the world today is on climate change agenda. How will the world receive the climate change pronouncements by Trump? Because he's saying we are going to drill. The world is talking about renewable energy, running away from fossil fuel energy. But Trump is telling us America is going to drill oil and gas. That clearly sets the path for new conversations around climate change. We didn't expect anything apart from, we didn't expect much apart from what he said in terms of illegal migrations.
Before you go to the illegal migration, when you say new conversations, do you mean that there is potentially a point of conflict between the global north and the global south? Because if you see the way the continent of Africa has taken the climate change agenda very, very seriously, then one wonders what then does the future portend for the climate change agenda? We have seen COP28s, COP29s. So where does that place that agenda?
Well, there are two things. The world must accept that Trump from day one, during Trump 1.0, Trump did mention that America is getting a raw deal, and that's why he pulled out of the Paris Agreement. So he's saying, who are the largest polluters? He points at China, he points at Russia, he points other nations. He says, who is the highest contributor to the coffers of green transition? He says it's America. So he's saying America will not take this for the rest of the world. Everyone must bear the burden. So unless the world now begins to persuade Trump that even as you're going to drill, can we fund the green transition the clean transition we want to see in the world, which I don't see that going to happen with Trump. And in his speech, that is not what America is going to be, because he said America first. So let us expect new conversations around climate change and that with the global.
He also announced, he talked about the aliens being returned to their countries in the first instance, and I was a bit interested to hear him say, it was interesting to hear him talk in the millions.
Yes.
And so one wonders, how then can Africa position itself around this new reality?
Well, African leaders must just come to the realization that they have to create opportunities for their people. Trump is not saying he's going to deport everybody. Trump is only saying those who went there illegally. And that happens to every other country. Even in Kenya, if you're found to have entered the country illegally, you will be asked to go back to your country, or legalize, legalize the process of coming back. That which has happened with so many, and even other people who were born in the country, when the state deemed that they had not regularized their stay in Kenya. They have been asked to go back to where they are. So that is, to me, that's not an alarm. It's just telling people, if
go
you
back
have to,
and regularize your stay, come back.
Come back.
He also castigated America's health system. And you know, analysts are probably thinking that was a punch below the belt aimed towards Biden. But there is the PEPFAR, the President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, which really people say has been very, very successful. So what is this something that you know Trump may rethink, or do you think we will still see more of?
No. Yeah. Trump will not touch anything that is on health, that is on economics. Trump may just touch on aid. But look,
why?
PEPFAR, PEPFAR in itself was instituted by George W. Bush. Then it was an agenda by Bush under the Republican administration, something that the Republicans may not want to live, because today, in the entire global South, you talk about Republicans, people know them for PEPFAR. So that is one thing, a legacy they wouldn't want to touch. Trump will touch on aid that is social aid. That is definitely, he may cut, it's not definite. But anything economics, he's going to broaden the base. He's going to ensure, and he talks about tariffs. That is to mean he's looking at how can America benefit, not how can Tom benefit before I benefit. It's America first.
America first. So as far as PEPFAR is concerned, you don't fix it.
I know. Broken. People should not worry about that.
All right. Okay. Yes. So finally, one who's watching perhaps may wonder this show tonight, what role therefore can Kenya, because we didn't hear about his agenda for Africa.
Yeah.
In fact, even the invitations, we were hoping to hear the channels from America talking about invited African heads of state. We didn't see that coming through. So as you wind down, what role can Kenya therefore play in ensuring that it maintains its diplomatic ties with the Trump administration, his second term?
Trump 2.0 will be interesting. One, Kenya is not going to reinvent the wheel. Kenya is only going to up the game. Why am I saying Kenya is going to up the game? In the area of strategic security affairs, Kenya is still very strategic to US on many fronts. Kenya is the leading country in the area as far as fighting terror and terrorism is concerned, the Al-Shabaab.
Yeah.
So America relies heavily on Kenya to ensure that the entire Horn of Africa is pacified. That will not change. Therefore, America will still have to rely on Kenya, and will have to partner with Kenya in terms of fighting terrorism and security-related issues. But Kenya being a hub, an economic hub in the entire East and Eastern African region, America cannot afford to ignore Kenya. I know many people will ask, what is during Trump 1.0, Trump did not have very lenient words or very lenient policies towards Somalia. And I think Somalia must now rise above what it has been and show to the world that they matter in the matrix of America. Yes.
That's a good place to leave it. Kenya, you say it doesn't have to reinvent the wheel?
No.
It doesn't have to reinvent the wheel. All what it has to do is to up its game?
Up its game.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to leave it. I want to thank you so much, Gordon Kachola, Executive Director of Africa Center for Diplomatic Affairs.